Right. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Stephen van Basten here again with Dr. Anthony van Tonder, also known as Doc Ant. How are you doing today, Doc?
Fantastic. Thank you, Stephen. It's great to see you again, and I'm excited to be on this topic today.
Yes. Well, you wrote the book, The Discipline Lifestyle, and it wasn't the disciplined, it's the discipline. So, yes, thank you very much. So, in your book, you speak about a couple of things, and Uh, one of them is protect, profile, and project. So tell us about that. And I believe that's within your chapter. Later on, we'll ask you about the other chapters.
Perfect. Yes, because obviously the first part is about behavior modification. How do you and I change our behavior? How do we modify our behavior? Because ultimately, when we speak about, as the title says, the disciplined lifestyle, it has to do with what we have to do to change our behavior. But ultimately, there are three things that govern the way that you and I either react or respond. And the first one is that if it all depends on in your temperament. Now we have a temperament, and we have a character, and we have a personality. Now all three of those things are behavior: temperament, character, and personality. Well, the first thing is your temperament. That is, what do you protect? Because you and I
Mm,
do things in a certain way, and you protect yourself in a specific way. Like if I had to come and I would insult you, you will immediately jump into action and say, "Excuse me," because one thing that's important about who you are is don't talk badly about me. You can if you have facts, but don't talk badly about me. So yeah, we intrinsically find that when it comes to our temperament, that people will protect who they are, whether they're a driver or an influencer or a supporter or the compliant type. We all protect ourselves in different ways. That's protect. Does it sound
okay.
yeah? Does it sound
Yeah.
real? And
Yeah.
then
100%.
well, then the part in terms of profiling. Profiling is where all of us basically say, well, I know, uh, how do I live my life? Profile is literally how you profile, and that is, this is who I am. I don't have to second guess. I can understand that when Stephen is on a golf course, when he's under pressure, I can expect how his profile will look like under pressure.
Mm.
It can have some very nice mustard curried mince flavor words when it doesn't go like it goes. You know what I mean? That's because that's your profile. Because
100%.
you get upset, okay? Whereas the other person, when they get upset, they all of a sudden they just go quiet because that's how they profile themselves. Because they just disappear. They do not like conflict, etc. So it all depends on how you put together. So protecting speaks for itself. Profiling is just who you are. That's your character. That's where you spend most of your life. And then that last one is, what do you project? Now, project is only
Mm.
a small part of who we are, because it's impossible to live up to a standard of projecting something that you're not. However, you and I can, if we have to, that fake it until you make it. We literally will project ourselves to be. I mean, let's say I'm in a situation, I am scared istless, okay? But I need to be brave in front of the woman that I'm protecting. So what I do is I
Mm.
project. I'm the man. I've got the muscle. I can do it. So I project. But man, you can't live that lifestyle forever because it will kill you, because it's not
Exactly.
natural. But it's a
Mm.
way of literally going beyond yourself. In fact, a little bit of acting involved. I mean, as parents, we know that sometimes you're not angry at your child. The husband comes back from work and the wife says, "Go and give your son a hiding. You go and give your daughter a talking to." Now, you're not in the mood. And then you have to project that image of you're not the father. And yes, you have to be stern. And yeah, that's tough, but you can't keep it up because it's not how you are wired. So yeah, so there we find that you literally will either protect yourself through your temperament type, will profile yourself through your character, and you will project yourself through your personality that you adopt for a small period of time. Where does personality come from? From the word persona. The mask. Those mask in terms of I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm sad, and that's really what people do. That's why they project themselves into that only when they have to. Just a brief synopsis. And yes, that is in my chapter, in chapter 1 in the book, in terms of behavior modification.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. All right. So, Doc, we have I think, a bit of a shorter show today. So tell us about the other 5 chapters. If I remember correctly, that would be physical, social, emotional, financial, and spiritual. And I know you're going to be tempted to speak for a long time on spiritual because it's one of your favorite subjects, but resist the urge and
We'll do
give us
that
a,
last. Let's just get this
yeah, 100%.
contextualization of, let's talk physical first. In terms of the prism of life, we spend 80% of our time at work. So I really believe, if you can get yourself physically sharp. Now, in your case, we know that you're a sensei. We know that you've just, and by the way, congratulations on your 5th Dan. And I know that Jacqueline, your wife, Jack's got her 4th Dan. Why? That's
Yes.
physical, because that is a work ethic that you have. Now, when it comes to the physical, you and I need to look after our bodies. That's it. We don't have a choice. Some people, some profiles actually battle to look after their body types because that's just who they are. Because what we're saying is that discipline is not natural for them, okay? Unless if it's a fiber that's in you in physical. So I'll start with physical, and the author, Saria van Wijngaard, happens to be a coach. She does yoga. She helps people with weight loss programs. It's all about how she gets to the next level. So physical is getting yourself physically in tune, be that an eating program, be it a sleeping program, be it an exercise program, but it literally has to do the disciplines through the areas that will physically sort of shape your life.
Mm. So that's okay. So that's physical health and well-being. Is there anything around that? I don't think so, relating to like the physical safety in your car or in your home, or alarm systems, and just leaving lights on and things like that.
True. Anything that has to do with physical. Physical means some form of activity. I can't see you being physical if there's no activity. Yes, the
Mm.
lights are on. I mean, at night, the physical security of your home, what do you and I do? We go check the front door, we check the back door. So it's a physical exercise. It's something that you need to do. And that basically looks after who we are at the base level. It's just a way of living. It's like you've got your roof over your head, yeah, it's your water and your lights, and that's how you drive it. But your physical is looking after yourself through all of those dimensions. But the one that's a difficult one is your body in terms of keeping it fit, keeping it healthy. I mean, the biggest part of physical is not enough water. I can tell you that 70% of who we are is made out of water. And you speak to the author of the physical discipline part, Saria will immediately say to you, "Have you had your 2 liters of water today?" And I'm like, "What?
Yeah,
Two
we're
liters?"
mostly dehydrated.
Exactly. And that's why I forgot to say, like, here I am. If she was close by, here I am. I'm drinking my water because it becomes a way of living. You look after yourself physically. Think for yourself. How do you feel if you haven't exercised for 4 weeks? Do you feel good? Nah, because you need to go, even if you go play some golf, if you go for a little walk around the block with your wife, whatever. But we are beings that it's to just veg on the couch. It's not natural for us. In fact, it's an escape. Sitting and just eating a packet of chips and watching some television and not doing anything physically, I think is an escape. But after a while, your body starts saying to you, "Hey, buddy, how do you feel about yourself?" And it's not feeling good about yourself, poor self image. So we have to do something to get ourselves out of that rut of not being physically engaged to go to the next level. So that's really what physical discipline is about. What does the word discipline for you, Stephen? If in your mind, what's the word discipline mean to you?
Actually, means habit.
Habit, yeah. What habits do you have in place to do it? I've got a little exercise regime of what I do twice a week. I can tell you now, if I do not at least get 20 kilometers on my lungs, on my legs, I become a grotty. I become miserable. My wife says, "Do yourself a favor, put your tackies on, get out of here." Because she knows I need exercise because my behavioral type is, as a choleric, is do something about it. Okay, so that was physical. Just an understanding of that.
Very good. Oh, I'm just pinning you to the middle less that we can see more of you and less of me. Awesome. So the next one was social.
Social. All right. Now, let's talk about social life. Everything today is governed by social life. Now, you happen to be an AI specialist, artificial intelligence, okay? And you've decided to embrace that as part of your life to start guiding so that you can cope with your own personal statement. Like, what purpose is you? What is your vision for your life? What is your mission for your life? What is your unique selling proposition, whether you're a business or you're a personal person? But social discipline says exactly what it is. In your social life, what do you need to discipline? Now, what about the people that literally sit on TikTok or Instagram for 2, 3, 4 hours and just scroll and scroll and scroll? Well, it's nice for the first 2 or 3 days, but then after a while, other people go, but you're antisocial. You're not talking to me. I can never talk to you because you're always busy on your phone. Have you seen our families sit at a restaurant all on their phones? Nobody's communicating. Even social discipline is one of the biggest challenges of the today life. And the author there, which happens to be Annelies Boot, is a person that is a whiz kid in terms of social interaction, speaking to people, and really want to go to the next level. So socially, you have to make sure that you engage with people. You know, no man is an island. You can't live on an island. I can't live on an island. So socially, we want to become interactive. In your
Yes.
mind, if you don't play golf with friends that you love for a long time, what happens to you, SVP? You become grotty and miserable. Isn't that true?
Yes. I I do.
That is
I
true.
do. Yeah.
So yeah,
And also, as you know, it's quite interesting around the societal one. I do apologize. There's some stuff happening here at home. Um, from a high values perspective, you know, and you know, it might be a little bit provocative, but you know, very often when I'm visiting people that are important to my wife, for example,
mhm.
I'm actually interacting on my phone with people who are interested in me. So I get that you know, we're all antisocial and etc. etc. But I also have an inner belief you know, we're doing what's highest in our values, and sometimes we do it because you know, sometimes people go, well, you're on your phone, and I go, yeah, you're not interacting with me, you're talking to each other.
That
I'm
is the
sitting
point.
here for 2 hours doing nothing. So I'll go on Facebook and I'll create a conversation with people who are interested in me.
But that shows that we all have the need to be socially accepted and socially interactive. And if you don't involve me, I will actually get myself involved at a platform where I socially feel fed. But that's where the
Yes.
discipline part comes in, because if you don't interact with other people, you become self-centered. Now, remember, selfish is good, self-centered is bad. If it's all
Yes.
about me, I, myself, well, that social part of it is wrong. But if it's about where you are and you socially interact with people, that is good. So, this is where Annalise, who wrote that chapter of the book, is brilliant, because she is like a social butterfly. She goes to book reading clubs. She goes to people that need things. She goes to many places. That's what socially gets her going. So that was social. Any question?
Can I, no, no, can we go on to emotional, and can I be incredibly rude? And while you're answering it for everyone, I need to just pop out and pop back.
Okay, no problem. Let's talk
My
about emotion.
apologies.
All right,
Yeah.
fine. And that's the emotion in terms of I'm not going to now feel like nobody loves me, everybody hates me. I'm going to eat some worms because Stephen had to go and run an errand. But when it comes to emotional, that is exactly what we do. Sometimes because someone cannot pay attention to us at that point, at that moment, you and I think that we've done something wrong. And that's where the emotional quotient comes in. Because see, we all are gifted with intelligence quotient. And that is that we can think for ourselves, we can act for ourselves. But the emotional quotient says, do we have the ability to cope with the intelligence that is given? Now, we do know one thing. When your emotions shoot up, flare up for some reason, your IQ goes down. You start saying silly things, you start doing silly things because it literally is a problem. So when it comes to your emotional quotient, you need to say to yourself, are you in balance with yourself? Now, I know men often say to me, this is unfair. How can you expect me to be emotionally engaged? And they say, well, men are rational. We think, we do, we act, we do. And then that is what we do, is that men are more rational and women are emotional. However, it's expected of men to actually be in tune with their own emotions so that they have coping skills and mechanisms so that they can engage with challenges, with conflict, and whenever they get pressurized. So yeah, thank you, Stephen. Wrapped it up there. Emotional aspect, that EQ that you and I have to put to use. Emotions.
Yes, indeed. And for me, emotional and EQ is really about managing differences, and we're all different, but we want people to we want the herd mentality. And sometimes we need to step out of, because the herd mentality is average.
Yeah.
And we want to step out of average. So it's managing diversity, managing the fact that somebody's a different color or a different gender or a different sex. These days they used to be the same thing, right? Or a different religion. Let's not go there, and now we're faced with a myriad of different people of different races, colors, creeds, etc., and coming to terms with the fact that they have rights too, and it's not just us that's right and they're automatically wrong. It's very interesting. So I'm always around that in terms of emotional quotient.
But you see what, there's this triangle between emotion, diversity, and adversity. And that is that because of our diversity, we are supposed to get along better, understand each better, and you must understand me. But the problem is adversity. That means you not necessarily have the skill to cope with the conflict. And that's where emotion comes in. Because if your emotional quotient is under control, even if there is a diversity, you'll be able to handle the adversity in terms of when there's conflict, when there's disagreement. So that triangle sort of loops all the way around, depending on where you are in your life.
Yeah, and also I know you like Maslow's hierarchy as much as I do. When you higher up that to self-actualization, then you're able, that links to EQ as well, because you can go, I don't mind if you believe in this person or that person, or if you have this sexual preference or this sexual preference, I'm happy with who I am.
Correct. If there's
And that's what's
self-acceptance,
important.
like if there's self-acceptance, so what would other people say and believe? You find peace within yourself. That is a high emotional quotient. That means, hey, dude, you can say what you want to, but it's not going to affect me. Unfortunately, that statement that we used to use at school is that sticks and stones will break my bones, but that one, but words can't affect me. Well, that's not
They
true.
do. Yeah,
Words do
100%.
affect us. But as we grow in our emotional quotient, that means we grow in the ability to handle that which comes towards us with better skills. That's what it is. That was emotion.
100%. 100%. All right. What's next? Financial.
Financial. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I forgot to mention that emotional author was Dr. Mamiki Malapo. She's run multiple conferences on emotions and emotional intelligence. So she is the right spot. Now we're going to financial discipline. Well, the best person I knew is Dr. Michelle Fantondo, who's the author of Financial Discipline, because she has immersed herself in the crypto market since 2009, when it became an issue, when people didn't know what was Bitcoin. Well, she's one of the first that understood it, but she also understands corporate finance, and therefore one of the best people to actually write on financial discipline. Because here's the truth. It starts with budgeting at home. If you do not know how to govern yourself on a basic budget at home, don't think that you're going to govern a business. You're lying to yourself, because you do not have the foundational discipline financially in your own life. So it's not going to reflect in your business life. So I'd actually like to challenge you. Do you know anybody who's got no control in their personal life, but actually are brilliant business people? I don't know any people like that.
No, no.
It's par for the course. Financial
Mm.
discipline says you know how your finances work. That's why when we work with children, we teach them from a young age. I know that Dr. Michelle speaks about the BIBS principle, which is a trademark in terms of the number one. What is the budget that the child has to speak to? What are they going to invest? Um, and so that goes on. I'm not going to give the whole acronym out for you, but it's a
Sure.
principle that she uses to teach children at their age financial discipline. I think that's where we've been wrong. Uh, you need pocket money to learn how to use money. So unfortunately,
100%.
where children have not had pocket money, they don't know how to cope with learning how to purpose their money. And that's one of the biggest things of financial discipline, is learning how to purpose money.
Couldn't agree more. In Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I had a poor dad. And so I was programmed with really negative stuff around money.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I I hated being poor, and I promised that my kid would not go through what I did in terms of just having no money and the stress that puts on a family and a marriage. And I'm proud to say I've done very well. So, but it has taken discipline. It's years of discipline. It's
Yeah,
money comes in. What do you know? Let me tell you an interesting one, Dr. DeMartini,
yeah,
a multimillionaire in US dollars, right?
yeah,
If you if you go to lunch with him and you pay for his lunch,
yeah.
let's say $100, you'll take that $100 and invest it. The $100 he would have paid.
Wow. Okay, you see now, that's financial discipline.
Yeah,
Really, that
100%.
that is a wow factor because he says I would have used this money, and now he purposes the money instead because
Yeah,
he would have been prepared to pay for that. Well,
yeah.
time is money, and that's why we talk about, do we have time to actually pay for a mentor or a coach? The answer is, well, how much are you worth? And yes, the time of a coach, the time of a mentor is worth it. So, Stephen, I know that I encourage people that spoke to you a week ago to go for your coaching on AI
Yes,
because
yes.
you must be the best reverse engineering prompt engineer that I know. I don't know anybody that knows how to write prompts for AI the way you do. That's why I send them to you. But people who run big businesses might need that one-on-one coaching and they must pay for it. Because you know what? When people get it for free, they don't appreciate it. They just
Yeah,
don't. And that's where
100%.
financial discipline comes in. Okay, so we've had physical discipline with Soria van Wijngaard. We've had social discipline with Annelies Boot. We've had emotional discipline with Dr. Mamiki Malapo. We've had financial discipline with Dr. Michelle van Tonde. And obviously the last one will be spiritual.
Spiritual.
Yeah, there you go. That's Dr. Richie Achuku.
Oh,
Wow.
I remember.
Yeah,
Yeah, very
spiritual,
cool guy.
spiritual actually challenges you to the next level. Because when it comes to full self-actualization, when we speak about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, let's face it, when we start figuring out purpose, when we start figuring out who am I, what am I supposed to do, what am I here for, then it's a spiritual experience. I don't care what your background is, whether you are a Christian, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Buddhist, it doesn't matter. But you have to acknowledge there is a force bigger than you and I. So that spiritual side, when you are firing in all cylinders, is because you have taken a position. Now, one day we'll all find out who was right, who was wrong. It doesn't matter. But do you have a purposing of yourself that is a spiritual experience? I mean, it's as easy as this, man. I look up and I just go like, who made this? Somebody must have made this. I don't know anybody. I've met anybody, not Elon Musk, you mentioned not Donald Trump, any other big names. None of them has put that in place. So, okay, sort it out for yourself. So when it comes to the spiritual side of it, obviously what was difficult for Dr. Ritchie was to say, how do I embrace all peoples? Well, that's exactly what it is. For you and I to realize it's not just about us. And my recipe is not necessarily your recipe for a cake. I might be baking a cake and in the end, when we look at it, it was vanilla. And you bake yours and you say, but I use my ingredients, but it's a chocolate cake. So what? We both have recipes. Okay. So that's what we talk in terms of spiritual discipline. That's it.
There was somebody, it doesn't actually matter who, but
Yeah.
he said something quite profound. He said, if somebody could guarantee you an audience with God,
Yeah.
like guarantee you an audience with God,
Yeah.
even the atheist would say yes.
True. Because you've got questions that are unanswered and you want
Yeah,
solutions. Isn't that true? Well, yes,
100%.
Stephen, that's what it's about for today. That's like you said, we don't have much time. I'm also run out of time. My people also arrived. I just want to thank you for being available. You were here. It's been a crazy one today, but you know what?
Yeah,
For the people who are interested in terms of taking themselves to the next level, those are the people who would have engaged. Those are the people who say, I want to go next level. So I want to thank you for your time to interview me today in terms of taking my book to the next level for people to understand it. So I thank you so much for being today my postmaster for the discipline lifestyle. I celebrate you, brother.
100%. Good luck, and my apologies, my end. It was a bit hectic, but we got through it. And anyone, as you say, anyone who's interested enough will look through any of that superfluous stuff.
Fantastic. Thank you. I appreciate you. And remember, you are who you choose to be. Make it happen.